on Thursday evenings, but you can't come to that. So let's do it on
Right. No, I
Tuesday
can't.
mornings. All right. So
Yeah.
that'll be the next one we come up to. But
Right.
right
And I hope people join us because you'd see, because the thing is, you don't want to make a course the idol either. Right.
right, exactly.
It's love is everywhere, and to idolize a book is just making it seem like it's the only answer. When if you look at what she has described, Marie did, she's actually continuing how we just hold. It's actually just an extension. It's an extension of the course. I don't care what.
Exactly.
Not that the course needs an extension. It really doesn't. You know, you can stop the.
Yeah,
But
you
love work.
can if you can do it yourself. So that's the thing I think is interesting. But Karen was saying something before we broke over. Karen, can you remember what you were saying? And
Yes, yes, thank you, Lynn. And it's off of what Dove was sharing about God's will being perfect happiness, lesson 101. So Ken Wapnick says, God's will for you, and this all came through this morning, and it's all from the book, besides what Ken said, but it's so beautiful to remember, and it's pertinent for me right now, for all of us in our lives. So God, this is Ken. God's will for you is perfect happiness does not mean happiness in the dream. God's will for you is perfect happiness is I am his son. So that goes with today's lesson that God is your father and he loves his son. And then in chapter 11, um, in Gifts of the Fatherhood, in paragraph 8, he says, yet what you will, you do not know. This is not strange when you realize that to deny is to not know. God's will is that you are his son. So there it is again. Then in chapter 1, section 7, in the very beginning of the text, he says, all real pleasure comes from doing God's will. Do not deceive yourself into believing that you can relate in peace to God or to your brothers with anything external. So this is the other part that Dove shares a lot about, that heaven is the awareness of perfect oneness. That is what we are. Excuse my frog in my throat this morning. But I mean, I need to remember this. I know we all do, because that is where all the problems rise. Dove also shared, I listened to his wonderful teaching on the triggers, be grateful for your triggers. And he said, my purpose here is, I'm paraphrasing it, but he basically said, my purpose here is to remember the truth and to teach the truth. And so it is real easy to forget the truth when you're going through physical pain and when your body's going through stuff that you just can't control. You can't control. The only thing we have control over is the mind and the decisions that we make. So when Dove shared that, it helped me to remember, yeah, that's why I'm here. I'm here to remember the truth. I'm here to remember the truth of what I am. That is God's will for me. God's will is that you are his son. So when I start believing these thoughts, all I have to do is change my mind and remember the truth of what I am, which is perfectly explained in today's lesson. And I'm just so grateful to be reminded. Thank you.
That's all. Yeah, that is the reason. And I think he is. We are here to teach the truth, how we act. But I want to say one thing. I would like that trigger tape because Saturday I teach and I can't get to that group, so I'd like that to be. I don't know how you got it, Karen. You got it from Doug. Doug, you want to answer that?
uh,
Yes.
yeah, Joni sent it out, I believe.
No, I just wanted to ask. First of all, you had a couple of Ken quotes there, Karen. If you could send those Ken quotes to me, I'm going to add it to. We're up to 99 Ken quotes, so now we'll be over 100 with what you just said about. I love that thing about God's will for your happiness is not in the dream. Of course, it's not in the dream. Exactly. And if that's a Ken quote, I would love to add that as the number 100 for sure. And I think where Karen is getting this is from a Ken Wapnick book. Karen?
No, you know what, Dov? I got this quote from Ken a while ago, and I don't remember where. I think I may have heard him doing a workshop or something, but everything else is from the text. The only quote that is from Ken is God's will for you is perfect. Happiness does not mean happiness in a dream.
Right.
God's will for you is perfect happiness. Is I am his son. Yeah.
If you can send that quote to me, I'd appreciate it. We'll make that number 100.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, and I'm getting the link. I'm going to post it in the chat, and you can open it, you can play it, but you have to download it to keep it, if you know what I mean. So that to Duff from Saturday. Joni sent it out.
She must have just sent it out to that group. I'll just message her.
No, she just sent it to me because she sends me these recordings every time
Good. Okay.
so I get them and play them. So
There's two kinds of recordings. If you have the one that was first posted on Facebook, it's going to disappear soon, unless okay. Karen is not a member of Facebook, so it wouldn't even open for her. But there is another copy that has nothing to do with Facebook. That's
oh,
that's
you
that's
know, I'll download it myself and because I have
exactly. You have to download it. That's
I'll
exactly.
download it. Okay. I didn't realize that, but thank you for pointing that out. I think I already downloaded it, but I'll do it again.
If you download it, and please add it to our YouTube, please.
Yeah, the only thing it's only the audio, so I don't have the video
Only
yet.
the audio.
Oh, I think no. You know what I do?
I sent to Karen the video.
No, I've got the video, but it doesn't. Does. Let's see. Does it download as a video? Anyway, we can talk about this on another time.
I will send you the video.
Okay. I have the video right here. I usually just download the audio. That's
But,
all. I didn't realize it.
but there's actually two videos. One is a Zoom video, like with the Hollywood Squares.
Uh-huh.
That's the one that I just got. The one that you probably have only shows me speaking.
Let me see. I think it might just only be, yeah.
I will send you the one with the Hollywood Squares.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. Thank you. All right, very cool. Because then if I have that on a MP4, I can put that on our YouTube channel. So, yeah. Okay. So where were we before all this chat about being grateful for your triggers, which is really, I mean, that's all Jesus is saying to us through the whole course in miracles, is, you know, this is what the ego does. This is how it works. This is, look at this, look at this, look at this. And really it is, it's all, he's just pointing out to me the way that I avoid being connected to my father, the way that I think that I'm I can do this. That's what I was reading from the Course of Love, is this whole idea that I can do it. I can become enlightened. You can too. All you have to do is join up our group here, come over here, pay me, 50 bucks a month or something. And, I can guarantee you, there will be a point at which you too will be awake or enlightened, which, we throw these words around, awake, enlightened. Jesus in the Course of Miracles talks about awakening from the dream. And that's exactly what it is. It's awakening from the dream. Enlightenment is what we are. I mean, we are that. So all we have to do is to awaken to that, to realize that. Otherwise, we're just living in this fool's paradise, thinking that that we know what's going on, and that we have a method. This is I don't understand it. Why all these methods people come up with? We have if you just sit here for 20 minutes twice a day and say this word, or go to this, go to the mountain and sit for 40 days and 40 nights, or we have all these methods. Where's the proof that any of them work? Where is the proof that any of them work? And so really all we're doing is fishing in the dark. We're which is a lot of fun if you ever go out on the lake. But but the whole thing being that yeah, the resurrection is awakening from the dream of separation. Karen put in the chat. That's exactly what it is. And that's why all these books, I was gonna bring up the list of books that I have that we could read from if we wanted to pick another book to read. And one of those books, let me go ahead and get that up so you can look and see. Kindle library. Just go to the very library of it, and maybe Sharon had some thought about doing a course of love, which would be great because actually that would help a lot of people in the daytime who can't come to that evening group, and maybe we might even get through it quicker. I don't know, but here's the books that I have, and I can always get more. So we're reading these: Course of Love, Joseph Banner, Absence from Felicity, Art of Meditation. This one here, the Starseed Transmission, is very interesting. Not A Course in Miracles, but very, very interesting. Forgiveness in Jesus, that's what Michaela and Karen are reading. We just completed this book. This book, Looking for God by Chuck Hillig, Seeing the Whole in One, is really good. This is really good. And so that would be a suggestion I have. The Embodiments of Love is the newest one from Sebastian. And we do have a group that are reading this book. And I missed the meeting this last week. I forget because there's so many meetings going on, right? And it's just too many for me. Anyway, some of these we have read, some of these we are reading. Taking the Ego Lightly is a good one. Resurrection Consciousness is a good one. This one here, The Golden Future, this Diana Cooper, it's about the new golden age, basically, that's coming. This one here is really sweet. It's called A Shepherd Looks at Psalm 23, and it's about a guy. It is a guy who was a shepherd. He tended sheep in his youth, and he became a minister, and so he uses his with tending sheep, and it's really beautiful. This one, A Symphony of Love, is the one that Bruce and I are going to start next. Parents and Children, I think we've been through a lot of that. The Mystic Jesus, The Mind of Love, Marianne Williamson's new book. That might be interesting to read. These are not, these are fantasy books, so no. We've read this, we've read this, we've read this, we've read this. Here's all my books on bushcraft and homesteading. Any of these, does anybody have any thoughts as you're looking through these, of one that you'd like to stop on and maybe get closer with? This one here, Satisfied with God Alone, Paul Gorman.
That one sounds good.
This one here, this Paul Gorman book.
Satisfied with God Alone.
Yeah, he's a Joel Goldsmith student. So yeah, that hit me too. When I saw it this morning, I said, this might be a good one to read. We got the Liz Cronkite's book, Memoir of Christ. And I know you love Liz, Sharon. Already everything.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, that book I have, and it's just her process. I don't know that everybody would even be guided to it. Like, it just tells you point blank that the one is in charge, not, we all know that the one is in charge. But yeah, it's a good book. I love it. But I'm saying the reason I say Course in Love is because that's what you're doing on Thursday nights, and they do follow. But I also like the one that I love Chuck's work. I have a Seed of the Soul one, and if you wanted to do that, that's good too. Because see, the whole and everything is really like a good guidebook,
Yeah,
right?
I
And
thought
he's a really, really good writer too.
it's a
So
cute book. This is, excuse me, this is the one I was talking about where um, there's a hole in the book, and there's practices he has. Just look through the hole and look at this and look at that, and so this is it's real. See how simple it is. It's not like a big, heavy reading book, but he's takes you into kind of, the depth of who you are looking for. You are who you're looking for, basically. So it's kind of cute. Um, anyway, and so there's that. But I'm for A Course of Love. I really honestly am.
whatever everybody wants. And here's the thing, they'll come, but I know that Duff doesn't come to the Course of Love. So if he's going to
Yeah,
come to the other,
I do.
Yeah,
oh, you do? Okay, then that's
yeah,
fine. Okay.
yeah. He's been joining. So let's do that. A Course of Love. Okay.
Well, it's a continuation, and the other one we'll do after. But they're all like saying the same thing. It's just like, one of the things I heard from Keith Kavanaugh is sometimes when you read other books, they feed the one that, they all serve together because there's nothing here that's special.
Right.
It's once you know the truth, it's all the same.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have a couple of really the Chilgrim Trump wrote some really good books, and the one that's kind of, well, he's known for the Tibetan Book of the Dead, but the translation of that. But he also did, let's see, uh, this one here is about where I used to work. It's a Rocky Flats, Order, Authority, Fraud, and Cover-Ups. All about the okay. So, but this one, Chokum Trumpa, Transcending the Madness, is the experience of the six bardos. That's
Yeah.
really a good book. And then this other one that he did, that let's see, do I have
I
it?
had Cutting Through Spiritual.
Cutting Through Spiritual Materialism. Yeah, yeah. Um, and that,
That's the only book I read outside of the Course of Miracles for many years.
yeah. This is a hell of a book. Cutting Through Spiritual Materialism. I have the physical book, but I got it on Kindle because it is just uh uh
He actually gave that as a series of lectures in Boulder, Colorado, in the winter of 71, 72.
yep, that's when I was up there.
Who
Anyway,
is that? Who is that, Dove, that you're talking about?
William Trungpa, who came from Tibet. He's a Tibetan Buddhist priest, and the first one that came to the United States to teach.
yeah, and
I,
and
and I personally believe, even though I have no proof, that Werner Erhard from S, who was my first teacher, was there listening in Boulder, and that's where he got the idea for S.
I believe it absolutely because that's exactly the same shit. I mean, people don't. Trump was he was a real different kind of teacher. And well, we had Alan Watts who drank on stage while he was teaching alcohol. He drank all the time, Alan Watts, and people loved him. Trump, he drank a lot too. And I mean, he but he was so clear all the time. He wasn't never acted like he was drunk, or people wouldn't recognize it at all. But he had had a terrible accident in his earlier years, and um, had broken parts of his. He was in pain. So anyway, but he is an amazing teacher, and I would love to go through this sometime with somebody. It's not very long. All right, it's only 244 pages. It's not very long. I also have it on Audible.
And
So
what's the name of the book, Lynn?
cutting through spiritual materialism.
Okay. Sounds great.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And I mean his they continue on. There's some really great teachers that still like uh, uh, Pema Chodron was with Chogyam Trungpa. Um, a lot of really great teachers came out of that lineage. So anyway, so that's a thought as well. But I do maybe for a later time. I do think that now is the time for A Course of Love. So let's do that. Let us do that. So what do you think, Sharon? You want to start now? We
Why
have
not? I love that you're going to do this because I can't make Thursday nights, so that's perfect. Yeah.
yeah. So let us in I really think the best thing to do to start is to read this, what she calls the prelude. And so I will start reading that. I mean, we could read the forward and the introduction and all that stuff, and it's really a lot of really good stuff too. She talks about how she got there, and uh, she's Mari is really a lovely person. Uh, she was teaching English up at the university, and where is she? She's in Minnesota, I think. Anyway, so uh, her husband built her like a little cabin in the backyard for her to go and write. And so that's what she did. She went out there and she had this whole uh, thing laid out for her and still is having. Mari is still receiving as well. And Jesus calls her the first receiver in this. So the prelude, this is A Course of Love.
Lynn, I just want to say one thing. Next Tuesday, I have like an orientation at the high school,
Uh-huh.
and so I won't be there next Tuesday, but add thereafter because I never work Tuesdays. It's just this one day they're calling every teacher that works for that district to go. Okay, so you know that, and I'll remind you again on Monday.
All right, sweetie. I love you.
Okay, love
I'm
you
so
too.
grateful that you're out there working with those children
Thank
because
you. I
you know
love
that
it.
the thing that children cannot survive without art and music and all the things that they're trying to take away. And I'm just so glad that it's therapeutic. And I was looking at, you posted something that some paintings that you had done. You're a wonderful artist, and I'm so
Oh,
appreciative,
thanks.
friend.
Yeah, that's so sweet. Thank you. You know, it's like I felt awful about what they're doing with the schools. So I thought maybe we could, in this community in Altoona, we could form like to get these kids lunches and stuff because they don't have money. There's
Yeah,
some of the demographics in Altoona are very poor. And
yeah,
so I don't know if you have any suggestions because I'm putting that out there, just wondering, how I might be able to help. Because instead of like me like having a temper tantrum about what they're doing, a lot of people just go off on their own and they just do it and forget about the government. Just do
yeah,
it.
yeah. A lot of people are doing that. So, and I think
Yeah.
that's what they're trying. I think that's what the folks in the government are trying to do. Get get
Get us
people
to
doing,
take responsibility. Yeah.
which I mean, I
Yeah.
don't think they recognize that, but I think that's what's happening is
I don't
people
know. I
are
don't
so,
know. I think it's just part of the whole way of rise of our consciousness. We could think it's a million things, but even to try to figure out a dream, it's being in the dream. So,
yeah,
it's like,
exactly. And Karen is saying she'd love to see some of your paintings as well. Maybe you can take
uh,
pictures. Remember when
yeah, I
Marcy
will. I
to
will. Yeah. Now tonight is Florian, so I won't, but I will maybe next week. I'll just show everybody.
yeah,
It's like art has been the greatest thing. I had it all my life, and it does. I'm going to say this: everybody's an artist. I've seen people. We have been taught so many things about art that are not true. Do it like I do it. If you can't draw, you're not an artist. That's bull. That's bull. Because we're all being guided perfectly. So no, everybody's an artist.
yeah, exactly. And you know what is really kind of cool? I don't know if you thought about doing this or have seen people doing this, but Jennifer Nahulu's dad does this. They go to like they set up a party at like a restaurant or a public
Right, a
place.
painting party. Yeah, yeah.
Party, and then they have one thing, and then everybody has a little easel in there,
Right. It's a
and
yeah,
they paint the picture that is there, and it's kind of lucrative. I think people do really well that set those parties up, and people love to go and get the picture, do the picture, and have a painting that they did themselves. And what's so funny is so cute is Sandy, my partner, she's neurodivergent, so her picture, she went to one of these, and her picture, she had put part like put part of it on a different section, so it was like it was a different picture basically, but it was the same objects, but they were just placed differently, because that's how she saw it, and really
yes, yes. That's
insight into her.
exactly a neurodivergent brain because I have it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't. Yeah, I don't paint like everybody else. No. Mm-mm.
which was really cool. So okay, so I'm going to start reading, and we have about 30 minutes before we're going to turn into chapter 13 or chapter 15. All right, so The Prelude, A Course of Love, combined volume, and this is published by Take Heart Publications, which is a part of the One Mind Foundation. I don't know if you all knew that, but the One Mind Foundation is part of the uh,
That's wonderful.
publishing of Course of Love, as well as Sebastian's books. The Prelude. This is a Course in Miracles. It is a required course. The time for you to take it is now. You are ready, and miracles are needed. See that? This is different. You are ready, and miracles are needed. Pray for all those in need of miracles. To pray is to ask. But for what are you asking? This is the first instruction in this course in miracles. All are in need of miracles. This is the first step in miracle readiness, asking for all to be included in what we do here. By praying for all those in need of miracles, you are praying for all to learn as you learn. You are asking to link your mind with all minds. You are asking to end your separated state and learn in a state of unity. This is a basic recognition that this is the only way you learn. Let's see how different this is. I don't know if it seems different to you, but to me,
I think what's different about it is he's already acknowledged who we are. We
yes,
don't have to get anywhere.
yeah,
That you know.
and
Yeah.
and and that then that the joining, praying for those in need of miracles, um, is linking our mind with their minds, with all minds, and we're asking to end our separated state and learn in a state of unity. This is a basic recognition that this is the only way you learn. Karen, yes, please.
Yeah, she's actually talking about true prayer and also in Beyond Perception in chapter 3. Um, that's where he talks about the only meaningful prayer is for forgiveness. He says prayer is a way of asking for something. It is the medium of miracles, but the only meaningful prayer is for forgiveness. And because those who have been forgiven have everything, and she's using the word miracle instead of forgiveness. So, I mean, it's all beautifully intertwined, the same. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Yes. And she was a Course in Miracles student for many years before this came to her. So, it's not like she's saying anything different. Paragraph 3. The separated self or the ego does not learn. Even when the ego has taken many courses and received many teachings, the ego has not learned, but has merely become threatened. Spirit does not need a Course in Miracles. If the ego cannot learn and the spirit does not need to, then who is this course and all other such courses for? Learning our true identity, the identity of the self that is capable of learning, is something everyone must do. Can the ego learn this? Never. Does spirit need to? No. Who then is this course for? I think that's a very good question. This is a basic question that was not adequately answered in A Course in Miracles. And I do believe that's true because Helen was so afraid. Helen's fear was just so great that I don't think Jesus could have given this to her. While A Course in Miracles is meaningless to the ego and unnecessary to spirit, it would seem to have no audience at all if these are the only two states that exist. Since it is impossible to be part spirit and part ego, assuming there would be such a state in which learning could take place would be meaningless. And again, who the hell? What the hell? All right, paragraph 5. The world as a state of being as a whole has entered a time brought on largely by A Course in Miracles, in which readiness for the miracle-mindedness is upon it. A Course in Miracles opened a door by threatening the ego. All those who, with egos weakened, walk this world with the hope of leaving ego behind, with miracle-minded intent, have awakened human beings to a new identity. They have ushered in a time of ending our identity crisis. Not since Jesus walked the earth has such a time been upon humankind. What is it in you that is capable of learning? What is it in you that recognizes that ego is not what you are? What is it in you that recognizes your spirit? What is it in you that hovers between two worlds, the world of the ego's dominion and that of spirit? What recognizes the difference? The Christ in you. It is easy to imagine how the Christ in you differs from your ego, but not as easy to recognize how the Christ in you differs from spirit. The Christ in you is that which is capable of learning in human form what it means to be a child of God. The Christ in you is that which is capable of bridging the two worlds. That is what is meant by the second coming of Christ. So this is making sense. And if anybody has any questions or thoughts, this is just making total sense to me, because that's always the question: is who is doing this?
Well, it's always the decision maker.
Yeah, ego can't learn it. Spirit
Right.
doesn't need it.
Cliff, I mean, Shelly asked, what book is this? It's The Course of Love.
Course of Love.
So,
Okay. Thank you.
where are you in this book, Lynn? Because I have a Kindle. So
Okay.
you're not at chapter 1, are you?
No, I'm in the prelude.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, prelude. Karen, yeah, please.
Yeah, it's reminding me of where he talks about in chapter 2, where he talks about right-mindedness is healing. So it's all about healing and being in the right mind, which is for me, it's the same thing as the Christ mind. And Christ's second coming is the correction of mistakes and the return of sanity, which is returning our awareness to the right mind, which is a miracle, which is the miracle, which is changing our mind from fear to love, changing our mind from, listening to the ego to stepping back and allowing the Holy Spirit to come through. I mean, it's all the same, just a little bit of different wording. So I love it. Thanks.
Thank you, Karen. Yeah, it is all the same, just a little different wording, and I think a little more focus than on because you're reading the Course of Miracles, and and the question always comes up, who is speaking and who is listening, who is learning, who's what. I know people who've read A Course of Miracles many times, and one person who was a teacher here, and I said to them, they said, and then when God looks at these things that are happening, God is unhappy, and I'm like, hello, do you not know that God doesn't see this? This is what A Course in Miracles says, that this is not even happening. This is not real. God doesn't see it. God is not, she's like, God doesn't know this is happening? No, God doesn't know this is happening. If this was in God's mind, we would be in real deep trouble. And then of course that person went back and read and figured out, oh yeah, But this was someone who'd been reading, studying the course for many, many, many years and teaching here on Gather. So it is absolutely, we all need to get this. Karen, yes, please.
Yeah, that is a good question, because Ken really addressed it, as Sharon said, by reminding us of the decision maker. He would actually remind us that when you remember that you are a decision making mind and not a body, and when you read the course when you look at the you, that you is the decision maker. So when we can remember the truth that when we are making a decision in every moment, it has nothing to do with the body or the person. Jesus is addressing the course. Really, I mean, that's what Ken says, that Jesus addresses the course to the decision making mind, basically. So, I mean, I think that's really great on Ken's part, because he really went to bat with that. So I think he really answered that question for a lot of people who thought they were, because it's written in an ego framework. So of course you start reading it and you think you're talking to Karen, he's talking to Lynn, he's talking to Sharon, and in the beginning that's normal to believe that and think that, because that's the language that we understand. But as we move up the ladder, we recognize that we aren't Karen, Sharon, Lynn.
Right.
So it's funny. Thanks.
Right. And but we had Ken to explain that to us and explain a lot of things to us. Whereas most people that read the course don't have somebody doing that for them, or they do have somebody doing that for them, and that person is telling them, yeah, the world is really real. So, that I think, I appreciate this teaching that I'm reading from now. And I'm going to continue reading paragraph 8. The ego is what you made. Christ is what God made. The ego is your extension of who you think you are. Christ is God's extension of who he is. In order to end the need for learning, you must know who you are and what this means. Where the original Course in Miracles was a course in thought reversal and mind training, a course to point out the insanity of the identity crisis and dislodge the ego's hold, this is a course to establish your identity and to end the reign of the ego. Okay, let that sink in a minute. Okay, this is a course to establish your identity and to end the reign of the ego. Paragraph 9. There are still a few who dare to believe in the glory of who they are, a few who can lay aside the idea that to think of themselves in the light of God's thought of them rather than their own is arrogance. This is only because the ego is not yet and finally gone. You are right not to desire to glorify the ego in any way. You know that the ego cannot be glorified and that you would not want it to be. This is why, while the ego remains, you cannot know who you are. The only glory is of God and his creations. That you are among the creations of God cannot be disputed. Thus, all glory is due you. All glory is yours, and your efforts to protect it from the ego's reach are valiant but unnecessary. The ego cannot claim the glory that is yours. Paragraph 10. Many of you desire to be, quote, foot soldiers, unquote, to just live the good life without claiming glory, without having any grand ideas about yourselves. It is possible to do much good without recognizing who you are, but it is impossible to be who you are, and you are what the world is for. Your recognition of yourself and your recognition of your brothers and sisters is what the world is for. Again, your recognition of your capital S self and your recognition of your brothers and sisters is what the world is for, has no other purpose. To stop before this is accomplished, when it is in reach, is every bit as insane as a belief in the ego. Ask yourself what it is that stops you. As humble as you seem to be in your choice, you are still letting ego make your choice. This is not humility, but fear. Paragraph 11. The further teachings of the original course were designed to turn fear into love. When you think you can go only so far and no farther in your acceptance of the teachings of the course and the truth of yourself as God created you, you are abdicating love to fear. You are perhaps making this world a better place, but you are not abolishing it. In your acceptance of doing good works and being a good person, you are accepting ministry to those in hell rather than choosing heaven. You accept what you view as possible and reject what you perceive as impossible. You thus cling to the laws of man and reject the laws of God. You claim your human nature and reject your divine nature. So do you see what he's saying here? That what we think, we can be making the world a better place by, like we're talking about teaching the children and all that kind of stuff. We think that, and it is making the world a better place, but it's not abolishing the world. And so, we can accept and do good works. It's just accepting a ministry to those in hell rather than choosing heaven. That doesn't mean you don't do those things, obviously. It just means that you don't look to that for your salvation. So the salvation is to recognize ourselves as and our brothers as the holy sons of God. That's our salvation. And what we do in the meantime, we do feed the children, we do, do the art, we do these things, but we don't do them as a belief that that's our salvation. And that's a big problem. I think we have that um, uh, conflict in our minds about what if I'm doing this, I'm accepting that the world is real. No, you're doing this, you're accepting that your brother's in pain. Having a drink of my coffee here. But you're not there to just you're there to heal yourself and your brother, not just bandage up the hurts. So paragraph 12, what is this rejection but rejection of yourself? What is this rejection but fear masquerading as humility? What is this rejection but rejection of God? What is this rejection but a rejection of miracles? Paragraph 13, you who have rejected yourself are likely to feel increasingly burdened. Although an initial burst of energy may have followed your reading of the course or your discoveries of other forms of the truth, although you may have even experienced what seemed to be miracles happening to you, as you continue to reject yourself with a capital S, this energy and these experiences that lightened your heart would have begun to recede and seem as distant and as unreal as a mirage. All that you retain is a belief in effort and a struggle to be good and to do good, a belief that clearly demonstrates that you have rejected who you are. In paragraph 14 here, I have highlighted, obviously, oh, child of God, you have no need to try at all. No need to be burdened or to grow tired and weary. You who want to accomplish much good in the world realize that only you can be accomplished. You are here to awaken from your slumber. You are not here to awaken to the same world, a world that seems a little more sane than before, but still governed by insanity, a world in which it seems possible to help a few others, but certainly not all others, but to awaken to a new world. If all that you see changed within your world is a little less insanity than before, then you have not awakened, but still are caught in the nightmare your ego has made. By choosing to reject yourself, You have chosen to try to make sense of the nightmare rather than to awaken from it. This will never work. This will never work. Try as we might, and will never. The only thing that can work is our awakening from the dream. And that's what John was saying last night. That was, I think, John's first slide was about, our purpose here is to awaken from the dream. That's the only thing. And that's the only thing. That's the only thing a teacher of God is here to teach. That we are dreaming. Wake up. Wake up, you're dreaming. Paragraph 15. By rejecting all that you are demonstrating that that you think you can believe in some of the truth, but not all of it. Many of you have accepted, for instance, that you are more than your body, while retaining your belief in the body. You thus have confused yourself further by accepting that you are two selves, an ego self represented by the body, and a spirit self that represents to you an invisible world in which you can believe but not take part. Doesn't that sound like how we are? I mean, seriously. This is how we're living. There's an invisible world that I don't have access to, and there's a world that is a body here that I have more access to than I would like. So you thus have placed the ego at odds with spirit, giving the ego an internal and invisible foe to do battle with. This was hardly the purpose of any teachings of the truth that have as their aim the exact opposite of this conflict-inducing situation. The truth unites. It does not divide. The truth invites peace, not conflict. Partial truth is not only impossible, it is damaging. For sooner or later in this lopsided battle, the ego will win out. The spirit, as you have defined it, is too amorphous, too lacking in definition and believability to win this battle against what you perceive as your reality. So that, this is so clear about what it is that we've done and we continue to do, even though we doggedly get through this course and doggedly go through these lessons and doggedly go through our days trying to, and what does doggedly mean? Dogs don't do that. Dogs aren't trying to figure out who they are. I don't know what doggedly comes from, but anyway, would anybody else like to read? My voice is kind of running out. We have about 8 more minutes here. And I would really love to hear someone else.
I'll take it.
Thank you, Rafi. And just read through paragraph after paragraph. Don't stop.
I just want to say I was away from my phone for a minute, but if you need a reader, just say, I'm here. So, all right, Rafi will take it.
Yeah, thank you, Rafi. Thank you, Sharon.
You who have come close to truth only to turn your back and refuse to see it, turn around and look once again. You have traveled your path, and the end of the journey is in sight. You stand at the precipice with a view of the new world glittering with all the beauty of heaven, set off at just a little distance in a golden light. When you could have seen this sight, you turn your back and sighed, looking back on a world familiar to you and choosing it instead. Not me. You do not see that this choice, even made with every good intention of going back and making a difference, is still a choice for hell, when you could instead have chosen heaven. Yet you know that choosing heaven is the only true way to change the world. It is the exchange of one world for another. This is what you fear to do. You are so afraid to let go of the world that you have known that even though it's a world of conflict, sickness, and death, you will not exchange it, will not relinquish it. You ain't talking to me, pal. When God remains unknown to you and you remain unknown to yourself, so too does heaven remain concealed. Thus, in turning your back on heaven, you turn your back on yourself and God as well. Your good intentions will not overcome the world and bring it an end to hell. In all the history of the world, many have done good, heroic, and at times miraculous deeds without the world changing from a place of misery and despair. What is more arrogant? To believe that you alone can do what millions of others have not been able to do? Or to believe that you, in union with God, can? What makes more sense? To choose to try again what others have failed and tried and failed to accomplish? Or to choose to leave behind the old and choose a way in which you become the accomplished, and in your accomplishment bring the new into being? What is the difference between your good intentions and willing with God? The difference is in who you think you are and who God knows you to be. While this difference remains, you cannot share your will with God or do what God appointed you to do. Who you think you are reveals the choice that you have made. It is either a choice to be separate from God or a choice to be one with God. It is a choice to know yourself as you have always have, or a choice to know yourself as God created you. It is a difference between wanting to know God now and wanting to wait to know God until you have decided you're worthy or until some other designated time, such as the death, such as at death. What are good intentions but a choice to do what you can alone by yourself against great odds? This is why good intentions so often fail to come to be at all, and why, when every effort has been made, the outcome seldom seems worth the effort. There's no satisfaction in the dream. You cannot earn your way to heaven or to God with your effort or your good intentions. You cannot earn and will not ever feel as if you have earned the designation of a person of such worth that you are deserving of all that God would freely give. Give up this notion. You have decided that you know how to do good works, but that you do not know how to do what God asks of you. You think, bad choice. If God asked me to build a bridge, I would build a bridge. And this is likely true. Yet you will not become the bridge. You refuse to recognize that the Christ in you provides the bridge, that you need only walk across to bridge the distance between heaven and hell, between your separate self and union with God and all your brothers and sisters. You prefer to think a good deed here, a bit of charity there, is more important. You prefer to give up on yourself and to help others without realizing that you can help no others until you have helped yourself. You prefer selflessness to self because this is your chosen way to abolish ego and to please God. This is not unlike the attitude of a good mother who decides to sacrifice herself for her children without realizing that her sacrifice is not only unnecessary but undesirable. Your good intentions neither please nor displease God. God simply waits for your return to heaven, for your acceptance of your birthright, for you to be who you are. Other Another failure to accomplish lies at the other end of the spectrum, with a concentration on self that seems to have no end point and no limit to the interest it generates. While forgiveness and the release of guilt are necessary, and while recognition of gifts and what leads to joy cannot be done without, they are the point they are the point only to the extent of making one ready for a new choice. Prolonged interest in self can be as damaging as the selflessness of those intent on doing good works, rather than leading to knowledge of God. Prolonged interest in self can further entrench the ego.
I don't know if you want to continue reading. We have well, we're about to the end of the hour.
Oh, all
Uh,
right. We can stop here.
yeah. So yeah. So I have to say this is good, and I think it's uncompromising. Just like reading the impersonal life, or reading Sebastian's work, it really is uncompromising. It's just saying you're not doing what you think you're doing. You haven't, you aren't who you think you are, so you're not doing what you think you're doing. And the only way that you're ever going to actually be able to heal yourself and the world and heal all these things that you see as problems is by remembering the truth of who you are.
Yeah, all of these other things are just ego ploys and tactics. Look what a great guy I am. Look what I just did for them. Or, let me focus on me because those are just ego ploys and tactics. Have nothing to do with the reality of our oneness. And the only reason that we're here is to recognize and be permanently one with our oneness.
And that's it exactly. That's it exactly. And that's why we come together. That's why we join together. Um, that's the purpose of everything that we do. And I think we're just in so much confusion ourselves between what it is and what I do. There's a huge confusion between what I am and what I do. And I am not what I do. So, so there we go. All right, I'm going to go ahead and, you know what I did? Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and stop this YouTube. Thank y'all for watching us on YouTube, and click the subscribe and click the like if you like this, and come on back, and there's links in the YouTube page for how to get to our schedule and all kinds of stuff.